iHeartRadio Broadway, driven by Mercedes-Benz.
I'm actually having more fun than I thought I'd have. I was thinking that it might be a really judgmental, type of environment. I was just afraid coming in from the more pop music and touring and acting like on that side. And since it's my first time, but I'm so deep into my career, I was just like, God, are they going to be nice to me? Are they going to accept me? Am I going to be uncomfortable? But the community aspect of it is what has like just blown my mind. How much fun we're having, how much I look forward to showing up to work. And I knew that it was going to be challenging with the schedule and with like maintaining vocal health and all that, but it's exactly what I was looking for at this moment in my life. The first thing that I ever did was The Who's Tommy at the Orpheum Theater in Foxborough, Massachusetts, and I played a young Tommy. And ever since then, I just loved theater. I did Shakespeare in Boston, and I did like, my mom and I would take the Bonanza bus from Massachusetts to New York for auditions a lot for like Annie and stuff like that. So I think that if I hadn't had success in music in that way at such a young age, I think I would have continued to pursue musical theater in a more serious way. I have been working with a vocal coach for the past few years, and I had never done that like in my childhood. I just sang. But when you're needing to sound really good all the time or sing from a different place and support and all that, I just wanted to make sure that I was like protecting myself, and so I worked through that. And I also worked with my choreographer to just feel more comfortable with different types of movement. We even did choreography from Chicago, like we did some Fosse stuff just so I could learn different styles. We did some jazz, we did some contemporary. So I paid out of my own pocket to just do some stuff, and vocal coaching, and spent a lot of time just going through the Moulin Rouge book and developing a point of view on Satine, on my character, and thinking a lot about her and her life, and it's just, taking the time. I experienced it at the opening of the North American tour production when they opened at Pantages in LA. So it's been touring North America for a while, and they came to LA where I live, and I saw it opening night, and Courtney Reed, who's playing Satine in that production, and Connor, who played Christian at the time, just blew my mind. And I just thought it was such a sumptuous, sexy, great show that I was like, I think it would be amazing to be a part of that. So I actually met one of the producers backstage, and I just blurted that out. And then I told my agents, I was like, God, it would be a dream to do something like this. And then, so that's really cool, because I'm like, what could I possibly dream next, if this was possible? I love live theater. I love live performances, like concerts. I just love it. I think it's such an essential form of escape and entertainment that we have. So I think it's really cool that people who maybe like didn't think about going to the theater would come. And then my follow-up question to them when they tell me like, oh, this is my first time, I'm like, what did you think? Did you have a fun time? They're like, oh my God, yes, we can't wait to come back. We want to see this again. And now we're thinking of going to see Six or Shucked or In Juliet or whatever. And I'm like, yes, because Broadway is, it's all happening here. There's something for everyone. And I'm so passionate about it. I'm just such a fan. I'm obsessed with our cast. They've become good friends. Yesterday, I was at Eric Anderson's, who plays Ziedler, and he had us all over for a little garden party. I'm like, this is too cute. Like, how is this happening? And Ashley Loren, who played Satine before me, who's a friend, she was there too, and so was Jay, who's now in Here Lies Love, and like and then somebody who was in another touring production of another musical. And then Derek has become a good friend of mine, and Sophie Carmen Jones, who came from the West End production of Moulin Rouge, and Ricky Rojas, who originated the role. It's such a beautiful coming together of people who are in all different walks of life, who are just working hard, playing hard, and being good people. Like, there's no bad apple in our company, and I feel like that's kind of rare. This may sound really cheesy or unbelievable, but I've always felt like I'm not really a part of a community. I've always felt like the odd girl out. Ever since I was a little girl, I've had this gnawing at me that I'm just like the weirdo. And I think I've found my people, because we're all just this collection of, like we say in our show, of like bohemians and just, people, just individuals. And so it means the most to me, actually. And it fills me with a lot of like joy and energy. And to do Broadway Bears was unbelievable. Like, just to see people volunteering their time and their bodies and their love and their gifts to raise money and to come together. Like, what's better than that? It's just the passion on display. I actually just put out a song with Mahalia, who's this dope artist from the UK, and she's become a friend too. It's called Cheat. And people are really digging that song, and it's a bop. And I'll start working on new music later in the year once I finish this run, and I'm really excited about that. I'm going to go to London and like work with some unbelievable people. And I also am working on a memoir about my life and the past, 3 decades of figuring it out. And I have a lot of stories that I've never told. And I think that even aside from career stuff, just the fact that I'm here right now defies all logic. It makes no sense what I come from and what I've been able to see and do in my life. And there's been a lot of ups and downs. There's been a lot of weird choices I've made, a lot of weird things that have happened, and a lot of weird men. And so I'm like ready to talk about all of it. Next year will be 20 years since I put out my first single. And to be 32 and to have 20 years under my belt is just kind of unreal. So that last year I really started thinking about it and thinking about how I've been therapized enough to like have perspective on this. I've been in therapy for a long time now. And I'm able to see what I can take accountability for, what was not mine that I took on, to be so young and to have so much responsibility and to have fame and all that stuff. And I just think the conversation is worthwhile. And honestly, Jeanette McCurdy, I knew that she was about to write her book. And when I read it, I was like, and to know that she wrote it herself, because I'm writing it myself too. I know a lot of people have ghostwriters, and that's fine. I respect that. But she's actually been really, really supportive, and we've talked about it, and she's been like, anything you need while you're going through this process, I know how hard it is. And that means a lot too, because as a first-time book writer, it's really crazy. But my editor was like, I just deeply believe that you can do this and you can tell your own story. And I'm ready. I'm ready to tell this for the first time. I don't know how I'm going to make it through, to be honest with you. Like, I'm in a really open place where because I get emotional every night on stage when I'm reacting to Derek and I'm thinking about what our characters are going through. So that, on top of the fact that like it's going to be, the end of this run, of this experience, I just hope I make it through to curtain call, because I don't want it to be like, I don't want to be in tears. I don't want to cry off my eyelashes. It would just be inconvenient.
iHeartRadio Broadway, driven by Mercedes-Benz.